So I kicked off the new year with an event called Vision 2020, which focused specifically on social entrepreneurship. And I had this thought to do this in mind, pretty much because I saw that there was a need to be able to provide foundational information to all business owners. With this particular event, I thought it would be a great idea just to gather a group of individuals who were interested in starting a business, who wanted to learn the fundamentals of what it means to be in a nonprofit, and then also, if you wanted to start a for-profit business, the pros and cons of each one as well. The first thing you have to think about is, going through the phase of concept phase and writing everything down as you want it to appear and you visualize as you want your business to grow. And then on the back end, what we did is we added in a portion specifically for discretionary funding and how you're able to pull that funding in or apply for that funding with the respective politicians that are currently in office. Right now, what I'm really focusing on is anyone who is looking to really try something different in the realm of starting social entrepreneurship. I wanted to make sure that businesses, especially businesses of color, have that, resource and, foundation so that they could be successful long term. Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. Your decisions, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
Well, hello there. Every time I see that video now, it makes me, really proud about my journey as I am starting the next chapter, the next phase as to what entrepreneurship looks like. Cannot be a punk and be an entrepreneur, and that applies for parenthood as well. I say it all the time. So welcome to the journey of the entrepreneur. I am Anita Pierce, your host and producer. I am super excited that you have taken time out of your busy schedule to be able to join, support, and just learn more about what this journey of entrepreneurship looks like. We like to show what it really looks like. I mean, if you saw in the video, I had on like pajamas, like my kid was around me, like, the space that I was in was messy. That's what it is. That's what it takes. It is not always glamorous. It is some days we are tired. We are juggling multiple schedules. And at the end of the day, we are really dedicated to this dream that we are creating for ourselves and also to leave a legacy for our family. So I get to have the best seat in the world because I get to interview some really dope and amazing entrepreneurs who are willing to share this journey from their perspective, what they are looking to bring to the table and share their gifts and talents to this world. So I get to introduce Miss Erika MacDonald. who is the founder and CEO of Engaging New Media. ENM, short for Engaging New Media, is a full service social impact video production company. Now, this is an opportunity that if you're looking for someone to help to create content, you need to pick up your seat, get your tea, take some notes, and also figure out how to become engaged with Erika's company, because they are mission driven. They help organizations to create massive, massive impact. And guess what? Erika's organization has worked with some of the largest organizations and also churches within Brooklyn. I'm actually a member of one of the churches that she has worked with, and I've seen their production and kind of wondered who was behind some of this work. Now I know the special sauce. It's Erika and her team. So, but Erika has over 10 years of experience working in the marketing and media agency. After 10 years of working for large networks, Erika decided. Uh-oh. Can I hear myself? Testing, testing. Can I hear myself? This is what happens though. But what Erika is now building an experience for all communities. And so I want to welcome Erika to the table before my mic cuts out. And I wanted you to hear Miss Erika MacDonald. Welcome, Erika.
Hey, thanks for having me. How you doing, Anita?
I'm having technical difficulties. How you doing?
That's like the story of my life.
I know, but I can hear you. I can hear you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So let's jump right in. Welcome to the journey of the
Yeah.
entrepreneur. We always have these bios that we have to, send out to folks. But what is in your bio that we really should know about yourself and also the work you do within your company?
Um, you were hitting like the right spots. We definitely are looking for companies that we can help create an impact with. And what does that mean? We want to find companies that are doing something in the community and help them tell their story. Because if we're able to be that trumpet for them and really push their business, they're able to help more people put more boots on the ground, get more donations, or just service the community better. So that's really what we're looking out to do right now, is just find those companies that really haven't been able to break through the clutter of, marketing and videos. There's so many videos that are happening right now. Almost everywhere you turn, you can go to regular websites, a little pop-up comes. So, you go to your social media, there's a video here, video there. So we really try to help them, when theirs comes up, stand out, share their message, connect with the right audience. Because it's one thing for you to be putting out content, but if you're not putting out content the people your audience wants, you're not connecting with them. And that's one of the main things that get people to join you, is when they feel emotionally connected with you and your cause or what it is that you're trying to do.
So you guys started this business out of frustration. Let's talk about that.
Woo, keeping it real. So yeah, that whew, it was a while ago. It I really just wanted to be able to have a creative space where I was able to help people on another level. I like you were saying a minute ago, Anita. I've worked in television and marketing for over 10 years, and I've done it for corporations. And I was like, okay, this is nice, but how am I helping my community? How am I helping other people get to the levels that I was blessed enough to get to? I'm not seeing that happen around me, and I'm not feeling like I'm making that impact. So that's why engaging new media has that impact effect on it. That's why we're on the here trying to find other companies that have boots out there to try to push them forward and help them do the things that they do.
So when you made your decision, how did you come up with the name? engaging new media?
Um, my company name is actually based off of my initials. So E and M are my personal initials, and then I used engaging because I knew that the videos had to be that, and I said new media because I'm like, media is consistently changing. Even if you just say the word content, you could be talking about a podcast, you could be talking about a blog, whatever new media is coming out. I wanted our company to be a part of it as well. So that's why it's not like engaging production company, it's new media, because whatever it is that's connected with the camera, whether it be a video camera or your phone camera or just a regular camera in itself, we wanted to be a part of it.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And what about so when you got started, you got the name out and you decided, you went through all of the stress that we all go through when we're starting up a business. What were your estimated startup costs?
Whew. Wow. If I look back at it, whew, but wow.
Because yours involves like equipment and, maybe setting up a website, or other, I don't know all that. I know definitely you need a camera, besides the phone, but you definitely need like real equipment, microphones, etc., lighting. What does that look like for someone who may be interested in starting out as a media agency?
So what I did was, because I do have cameras here, but I didn't really use my own cameras. I actually hired people with their own equipment, and they're my videographers, and I have graphic designers who have their own software that they use and things like that. So it's more built into like what my clients pay. So it wasn't really part of my startup cost. As a writer and producer, I love keeping the photos to the professionals. So my startup costs were mainly around like my website, business cards, LLCing and stuff like that. So it was like maybe a couple thousand for all of just that stuff in itself. LLCs are a lot more expensive than an S corp because you have to, put in ads in the newspaper and things like that. So that part of most of that cost that I'm telling you about is really just getting that LLC.
And so I want to clarify that for those who have been watching since last year, that the importance of, when specifically in the state of New York, I know a lot of folks who I'm coaching that have established LLCs but did not do their publication. And when I ask the question, they go, "What's that?" And I explain to them that they have to go back specifically if
Yes.
you're in the state of New York and you have filed an LLC,
LLC.
please do the publication. It's a law. It's embedded in the law.
It's true.
And so please, check with your county clerk's offices. You do not have to expend, outside of the list of publications that are with the county clerk's office in which you are managing your business. Please just get their list and go do that. So,
And
go ahead.
that's exactly what I ended up doing. I went to the county clerk. I was like, listen, I got part of this LLC. I need the other part so I can finish putting the paperwork through. Because like Anita was saying, like if you don't put in the publication, you don't technically have an LLC yet. That's part of it. You have to turn in the fact that they give you like a receipt that shows the publication, and you have to send that back to Albany and then make another payment on another fee, because that's how state works. There's fees for everything. And then you finally get the LLC once all of that stuff has been processed.
And then you're done. And then you have to just do the reporting. It's like every 2 years to just let them know that you're still active. And and that's pretty much it. But we got to make sure that we take
binary statement or something
Yep.
like that you have to do every 2 years. They email me because I'm not gonna remember half the time.
Yep.
But they do
that's
email
the
you to
truth.
say, hey, it's coming up.
Yep.
They do.
And so the other thing I want to highlight is, which I think is really fascinating. So, you're the brains behind the business, but in the beginning you did not start with full camera, any of that. So your costs were, you were pretty much outsourcing, the things that you don't really specialize in at the moment. That's pretty amazing. I never heard that model before.
Yeah. Like I said, I have a camera, but I felt like, you know what? I know the professionality of the people in my network, and I want to be able to build a team of people that I can kind of consider like my work family. These are people that I trust, because building a business, it's all standing right now on my name, because like you said, I'm the one that everyone's going to be pointed to at the end of the day. So is it something that I want to go out there and have to teach myself to get it to a professional level? So when I'm dropping, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 10 years. All right, well, why is the camera this? Why is this going on? Da 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 da. I'm not trying to have any excuses. That's
Right.
not what my business is about. And I already have a huge learning curve when it comes to running a business as it is. You're learning financials, you're learning, law and all these other things. To add one more thing just doesn't really make sense. Yeah, it's fun to do if that's something that you're already passionate about, but at some point you should be able to hand certain stuff off and say, you know what, the person I'm handing this off to, I trust them that they're going to do a good job. I have a rapport relationship with them. They've never let me down before, and it helps them out too. Why not?
How did you vet your partners that you work with on your team?
So luckily for me, because like I said, I've been working in the industry for so many years. These are people that I've worked with throughout the years, and I've just literally called them up and said, "Hey, I'm starting this new adventure, and it's my business, and I really need your help. I need you to do A, B, and C, and are you willing to work with me?" And 9 times out of 10, everybody was on board. What do you need? How can I help? Sure, let's do this. This is fun. You're a great person to work with. I already know how you flow. This is going to be easy. We'll just have to figure out, the remote situation, because we're used to working, together in a building. But
Right. Oh, that's great. And that's great.
yeah,
That's really great. So in essence, you have remained connected with those who, you work with over the years to help you to move forward or scale within your current business model.
it's true. It's extremely important to keep in contact, and I learned this kind of like the hard way through as I was growing through my career, because you're at a point where you're going and you're like, oh, okay, they're going to another job. You might not see them again. You can't have that mentality. Each of your industries that you're in is very small. You will see them either on the way up, on the way down, on the way in, or on the way out, but they're going to have some type of effect on your life, and you want to make sure that that relationship that you have with them is solid. Yes, there's going to be some difficult people that you meet. Not every personality is going to mesh, but at the end of the day, you guys should be able to have a level of respect for each other, that, you know what, I might not agree with Erika on 80% of the stuff that she does, but I respect that she always brings excellence in all the work that she does. So for that, I will give her that check mark.
Hmm. Wow. That if that is not the tip of the day, I don't know. I don't know. Maintaining relationships.
Yes. Yeah, one of
Maintaining.
my mentors was, I was speaking with him yesterday, and he was just like, you just don't know how your relationships could, turn around. And he was sharing how even when he was getting ready to leave one company, they were cheerleading him on, and actually like, you know what, we're gonna go and help you get that next position, because we believe that much in you. You want people to be like that with you.
Right. So character and maintaining relationship. No, you just dropping gems, Erica. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Because sometimes we need those reminders about, and those are
It's
those
true.
are what I call the social skills or the social things that often are not taught in school. And
It's
so,
very true.
maintaining and managing relationships, you don't want to burn bridges, but sometimes you just have to move out the way nicely, because you never know how that
Yes.
relationship is going to come back to you.
I love how you
So,
said that. I love how you said that.
yeah. So let's talk about, like the process, like what some of your process, without sharing all your trade secrets. Like, so you get a client, they come in, like, what would that look like in terms of like, your rundown? What do you do first?
So like once we go through like that whole process of just getting to know them, because my sales process is more so I want to know who this individual is. I want to know what the brand is. I need to make sure that both of these align. It's great, you're having such a rush when you're hearing about a project, but maybe a person, their personality isn't fitting what it is that you're looking for in a client. But maybe sometimes, you're like, oh, but I just really need this money. And then it turns out, man, I should have charged like triple because this person and I are butting heads. So it's very important that number one, client wise and I, we're on the same page. We're able to communicate with each other. And communication is a huge thing. I mean, I know we always say it in like our family or personal relationships, but you have to have it in business as well, because especially when you're a creative, a person can say, I want a little, image over the person's shoulder. Okay, well, do you want like a pretty bar? Do you want a little box? Like, we need to be able to sit down and have this conversation without you blowing a gasket saying, I wanted an image. Why don't you get it? Like, it should not be that serious. So once we make sure that we're on the same page with those, and that the impact is there, because at the same time too, we're not just creating pretty videos that make people feel good. We're creating videos for so that the customer can invest in a piece of content that's going to be evergreen. They're going to be able to use it over and over again, whether it be for selling a product, raising money, whatever it is that they need to do. So as long as the impact is there, we're able to tell a really good story and give them the return on investment that they need. So all of those things need to be fleshed out before a handshake, contract signed, any of that can even really happen. And then from there, we're just connected the whole time. We're bouncing ideas off of each other. Hey, look at this. I'm, sending them little storyboards in order for them to have an idea of like, this is what we're thinking the story might look like. Here's the script. Give me, am I on the right track? Are you feeling anything? Because it's one thing for us to assume that we know, a decent amount, but an owner's always going to know what their brand is, the tone of voice, how they want to be represented. So it's very important that we stay connected and committed to that theme throughout the entire process.
Wow, that's really interesting. So, I understood you talked about communication, even doing touch bases throughout the process. So you're
Mm-hmm.
not just working on a project and you're being silent and then come back with like a finished product and you're done. There are a number of touch points to get feedback and allow for, client feedback during the process. So that's really amazing to share.
Mm-hmm.
So what about like some of the tools that you use? So I know that, we were talking about in this space. So I use StreamYard,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to, to facilitate, you know, multiple areas where we can spread out this information on multiple platforms, YouTube and also Facebook and other. What are the tools that you use to get out your information?
Um, I like you were saying with streaming, it depends on like what we're working on, right?
Mhm.
So like with when it comes to like editing, we'll use the higher end edit stuff. But when it comes to like simple marketing tasks, especially when I was doing everything more so by myself, just because I was starting, didn't really have funds like that. I
Right.
would use Canva. It's quick, it's easy. I'm moving things around, boop, 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 export. I still use Canva on my proposals right now because it's easier for me to just move things around and keep it pushing. I Photoshop, do I know it? Do I use it? Yes. Do I use it all the time? Not necessarily. It really just depends on what needs to be done. If I really need to do a lot of touching up that is really serious on a photo or something to that extent, yes, I will use that. But I mean, starting out, sometimes we feel like we need to be so perfect at stuff in order to start. So it's like, I need to start off with the Photoshop, but you don't even know Canva exists. And it's like, no, 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 baby steps, baby steps. Let's get stuff out there. And then as you're creating, it slowly gets better. Like even with my website, I think it's like the fifth rendition. And I have number 6 literally in the works right now on the way. And that's going to be my first WordPress website. All the other ones have been on like Wix or, some other, Squarespace, whatever, plug and play type stuff. It's what I could afford. And it was what was quick and easy for me to do. So that's what I just did, just to get my name out there, just to get started. So yeah, don't overthink your starting point, because sometimes I feel like we do, because we know what it looks like 10 years down the road, but we got to remember that's still 10 years down the road. Today is step 1.
I'm just going to finish the program because you dropped some. So it's so interesting. Like, as we're talking, I'm like, yup, the website. I'm like, I don't like it now. And I know I need to change it, but I need a web presence. So I'm not stressed out. Like, you don't get stressed out about the things that, it's not going to be the same in a year or two.
You can't. The thing is with websites, and I know, like, for me, because I like I said, I do design things from time to time. So I'll get a little nervous, like, oh, the design isn't hitting. And again, one of my mentors will step in and say, does it have the words that your clients are looking for? Because if you took off all the words right now and you had a pretty website, would they know what you do? Would they know the impact that you're trying to make? No. So if you don't have the right wording, you can have the prettiest website in the world. You're not going to get nobody still.
But I like what you mentioned about the starting point. Like, we shouldn't have to feel like, our starting point, like we have to have everything perfect. And the two tools that we mentioned, this is not a marketing pitch or plug or a sales plug.
No.
These
We're
are
not getting
things
anything from this.
Nothing. But these are things that we actually use to help us. And they have free versions of both StreamYard
Yes.
and also Canva. So, if you want to get a little bit more, fancy, is that what you want to say? Both the packages, they have free versions. But I think Canva runs you about $119 for the pro package for the year. Or tip, this is a tip. If you have a friend who is a part of a nonprofit and they're willing to give you a spot, nonprofits can get it at no cost. Canva.
It's true.
It's plug.
It's very true. Not only that, like, if you have videos that you need to edit, you could go into YouTube. They have like the little, slider. You can cut little stuff here. And is it like a Final Cut? No. Who cares? Because guess what? When you put your video on YouTube, there's no sign that says I edited this video in YouTube. There is no sign. They're not blowing up your spot. Like, it's not that serious. Nobody knows where you edited this at. If that's what you had to use, do it. If you have a Mac and it came with the little movie editor and that's what you had to use, do it. There's no shame. There's no shame in it. Do it.
Not at all. And this is the real conversation about entrepreneurship. I am not. Listen, I'm eating. I have a place to live, and I have more stable income. When I first started, I was cringing because I was somebody's new mom and was trying to figure out how to become an entrepreneur. Like, that was scary. It still is scary. It's scary as you start to become more visible as a business owner, specifically as a business of color. It weighs differently on us. But I have to tell you that entrepreneurship is in our blood.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Historically, it is in our blood. We just have to remember, what our gifts and talents are and how we are able to share them with the world. My 2 cents.
No, I 110% agree with that. I think, like, with entrepreneurship, it's very romanticized, especially like right now. You don't want to have to go to work and deal with shots, corona, blah, blah, blah. Just go ahead and get your side hustle going, and you can make 2,500 billion, whatever it is, in like 6 months because, this person did it. And I was thinking to myself, like, what? What school of hard knocks did they go to that I didn't hit because I missed that class?
Me too.
Yeah, this is the year we're in right now is my official third year of like being in business. My first year, I was still, kind of just dipping my toe in. I had a full time job. This was the side hustle. Unfortunately, my full time job folded, and then this became my full out means to sustaining myself. And in the beginning, it was very hard. It's like, oh my gosh, like there's no extra paycheck coming through. Like, all right, unemployment, this is hang in there while I still try to work on this on the side. Let me try to get this there. And for people who are in that situation like myself, there is no shame in that. There's actually a program, and this is for New York. It's called the SEAT program. Ask as soon as you are land on unemployment to be put into this program. I believe it's like 13 weeks, and during that time you don't have to find a job. You just have to work on your business and show that you're working on it, and they send you to some classes that are helpful to help you understand like that transition and what you should be doing and things of that nature. So definitely take advantage of that time and really push, because I did that when I was laid off, and I just was 100% focused on just getting this off the ground. That was like my goal, getting it profitable, because the first year or two, the government expects you not to be profitable because it is just that hard. You're looking for clients, you're making all of these marketing materials, your website, your flyer. You're doing all of this stuff simultaneously. You're building your processes. I'm still building out my processes right now, to be honest with you. So it's not for the faint. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. It's definitely not like, well, today I'm an entrepreneur, tomorrow I'm no. You're in it. You're gonna have to make some sacrifices. I see my cousins now. I'm used to being with them all the way up until 7. They're 16 now. I don't know who they are anymore. These are some grown folks. And I'm just sitting here like, I lost this much time and I have to make it count, because I can't fathom having my own family, losing that. Like, I'm not married with kids yet, but God willing, it's coming soon. But I wouldn't want to fathom losing that much time with my own and not seeing the fruit of my labor. Because then it's kind of like, well, why did I do all of this? Why did I sacrifice so much? And that's when it becomes heavy. That's when it becomes like a real burden for you. So right now I'm still kind of in that mode where it's like, I need to see these results, because my family is a huge thing in my life, and to not be able to have been there for certain seasons of my family's life is really, it's big. Anita will tell you, time goes by so fast. How big is your daughter now from when you started?
So, yeah, my story is that I think most of you know, I measure my business growth on my daughter. My daughter is 6.5. I started, right after I got laid off after maternity leave. And I'm telling you, those first 3 years, I was, I made a couple of grand here and there,
Yeah.
And but what really transitioned for me, because I think you are also certified as a MWBE
Yes.
as well. And that is where what transitioned my business and added on to, some of the revenue streams. Being certified with the
Yes.
state and also with the city of New York. So a part of my revenue comes from, the contracts that is unallocated, because a lot of businesses, nonprofits included, they have, especially if they're getting state and city funding, there is an allocation for MWBEs. And if you have that certification, and also the services, products and services that they're looking for, that is where you can also enter into a different space. So I'm very
So true.
grateful that I have been able to capitalize off of it. That's not really the most appropriate word, but that was the first thing that I thought of, in terms of like being able to, make revenue for my business. And also I'm a coach, and also I do training, but that is because I decided to have, multiple revenue streams from within my business. I wanted to have that. And also, just to touch back on something that Erika mentioned about the LLC. Initially, I didn't start out as an LLC. I started as a sole proprietor. That was my structure. I didn't have much money when I first started. I didn't know
Mhm.
really when I want whether I wanted to go into the LLC. But once I really started to make real revenue, that's when I made the switch. That's when I made the switch. So it's something to think about, as we're here, unpacking what, the real looks like behind the scenes.
Mhm.
I mean, of course we want to be on a yacht somewhere, sunbathing, like all the time. Um, we have our systems automated. We
Mhm.
can call in once a week because we're, on a beach somewhere far away. But that's not my reality right now. So I'm living in a
Mhm.
reality right now. I'm in a hoodie, because I'm in in a space where, I'm in my home office, it's not all that clean. And this is where I am right now and still generating, still happy, still, moving forward. But I wanted to follow up with, like, the importance of collaborating with businesses. So you talked about, your tapping into your network, but what about other businesses? How do you, or do you prioritize collaborating on projects or just in general with other businesses?
Yes, yes. And I actually wanted to like it's funny that you brought that up because I wanted to revert back to what you were saying about like when you use the word capitalize. You didn't capitalize. You capitalized, yes, but you leveraged your
That's the word.
MWW, yeah,
Yes.
MWBE.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I'm looking to do with my MWBE is to leverage it because yes, it works for state, federal, whatever level that you end up getting it on, but you can also use it to leverage for working with other companies. So for your question, yes, I do work with other companies, and that has been kind of like that low hanging fruit. Like, hey, I
Hmm.
have this and would love to work with you on it. You may have gotten the contract, but you need someone like me in order to keep it.
Right.
So let's come to the table and come up with something that is going to be fruitful for both of us. And we can both, work on this contract together. I think it's really good to be able to find companies that complement you. So like one of my partners that I work with is like a website company. If they have, a client that maybe they've already created the website for, but now they're looking to create videos, they're calling me and then vice versa. Another partner I can have is like a social media company, and again vice versa, where I'm making videos for their client. Now their client has actual new content that they can go out and put in on their website, social media, wherever it is that they need to put it. But I truly believe, but you guys giving each other referrals, it makes it easier, especially like on the marketing side. You're not having to push your name out so much because when you're first launching, that's when you're really just trying to get people to know who you are. Once people start seeing what you're doing and they like how you operate, that's when the referrals and the partnerships start to come in. That's what I noticed, anyways, from my journey that I've gone on so far.
Doing great work, being consistent,
Mm-hmm.
doing great work and being consistent. Great customer service is not just an option, it's actually an imperative. Like, and even if you make a mistake, because I promise you, oh my gosh, I promise you, we make mistakes in business. It's how we recover
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
is what
Mm-hmm.
is where, we do a mistake, within a client, project, etc. Figure out quickly how to get it together,
Together.
because you
Yeah.
want to you want to make sure that you can show the client, yes, you made a mistake, but this is how we're able to fix it. And, I don't want to say move on, but yes, don't wallow in it.
Yeah, definitely don't want, but number one, your client is going to really appreciate it when you own it. And I'll give you a quick story of
Hmm.
something that happened with me. So one of our video productions that we were doing, like a live event, there was an issue with the somebody was trying to share their footage, and when they were sharing it, the whole screen kind of went crazy for everyone that was viewing it, which was over maybe like 200 something people from my clients end. I had to call them immediately and say, you know what, we messed up, I'm sorry, and this is what we're going to do. These are the steps that we're going to take to make sure this doesn't happen again. However, we kind of had a feeling that this was going to happen. We pre-warned them because there were a lot of technical issues that were going on even prior to us signing this contract. So I still apologize regardless. I still let them know these are the things that we're going to be putting into place so that it does not happen again. They don't have to worry about it. And these are the things that we're going to do to fix it. What we did almost on a regular basis was what went right, what went wrong, and then how do we fix what went wrong so that it doesn't happen again tomorrow. And then we found that, from day one of working together throughout the week, what went wrong list got shorter. So by the time that we were done with the project, all they could remember was all the things that we got right and that we were fixing things that were going wrong as we were going along the way. Because things are bound to happen. Technology fails. People don't show up. Something's always going to happen. It's just a matter of putting certain things in place so that you're able, like Anita said, to pivot from it quickly versus just sitting in the corner crying about it, because that's not helping anybody.
You can cry too. Just get up.
Yes. Yes. That's very true. Yes. Take a moment. I'm not saying don't be human. Take a moment. Take a break. Because I know I was sitting there like, yep. Ooh, this hurts. Yep. Oh, Jesus. This hurts.
Yep.
I wasn't expecting this. I'm going to have this shiny new company that never makes a mistake, that doesn't do any of the things that the other companies did that I work for. And boom, out the gate. I was like, oh.
And then, and to be continued, because if we fold, you may want to reconsider this journey of entrepreneurship. It is not for punks.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Not for punks. So as we are wrapping up, I wanted to get some additional tips from you, like, starting off, just to do like a short recap. What are your top, 3 things that you want to share for those who have the desire to do similar work that you do?
Number one, I would say have a very strong why. Because on those days where it's hard, no one's calling you, you're by yourself, you're trying to figure it out and you're frustrated. If the reason why you're doing it is just money, you're going to quit. So it can't just be money, because you can go and get a job for that. It needs to be something that makes you jump out of bed, crazy hours in the morning to go and do this. So if it doesn't pass that litmus test, that's not a reason why to do it. Number two, I guess for me, and like I said, the expectation wise of having like a Lamborghini in 6 months is kind of crazy. Set realistic expectations so you don't shoot yourself in the foot and sit here wondering why in 6 months you don't have your Lamborghini, because it just doesn't work like that with everybody. I'm not saying that there aren't a few people that it maybe have worked for, but the majority of us have put in a lot more time, sweat, and tears. It's just a matter of when we see that person, it's usually after, a 5 to 10 year stride of them doing what it is. And it seems like they came out of nowhere 6 months ago. They just came onto your radar 6 months ago. That didn't mean that they weren't already putting the things in place. So manage your expectations. That's another thing too. And number 3, get really, really great people around you to support you. You have to have a support system that can help, encourage you, build you up. Maybe your family doesn't understand why you're going down this road. Maybe your friends don't, whatever. If that means you need to get a mentor, that means you need to get around other entrepreneurs who are also in the same situation, where when you see each other, you give each other that motivational speech that, hey, it's another day. Let's do this. Because number one, those people are going to be your advocates when it comes to getting like those testimonials in. They're going to be like, I saw him when nobody was here and he was busting his tail trying to get this thing off the ground. And now he's got, 5 people under him. They're going to be the ones that are saying, you know what, I know 5 people over here that could use your help. So a community is what you really need to plug into. They'll either help you find work, or just be that shoulder for you to just really vent to. Those are my 3 things.
And we're going to say amen to that. So where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on like Facebook, YouTube at Engaging New Media. I'm on Twitter as well. You can come to my website, find me on there, engagingnewmedia.com. The old one's up still right now, but hopefully by the time you see this, the new one will be there.
So that's fine. And so all of the handles for Erika MacDonald's business is scrolling at the bottom. Erika, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to support this situation over here. It is really amazing to get to know you and to learn more about you and your business. Um, I'm excited to see what you're going to do next. And make sure you stay connected.
Oh, definitely. Thank you for having me. I had a great time, a lot of challenging questions because, sometimes you're so busy in the thick of things, you don't even really go back to reflect and be like, wow, I did that, didn't I? So thank you. Thank you for this time of reflecting and back and just, yeah, having that moment.
Oh, and just acknowledging how dope and amazing you are. Of course, why
Oh,
not?
listen. I received the pat on the back, but I also send it back towards your way because if you didn't do this, we wouldn't have this moment right now. So I thank you for becoming a detail and a part of my life. I thank you.
I appreciate that, but that means you're gonna come back
Oh, definitely.
that means you're gonna come back. So I'm gonna kiss Erika virtual kisses. So long. Stay safe, stay sane, and thank you again for joining the real journey of the entrepreneur. So long, Erika.
Bye.
So you see what I mean? You cannot tell me that we do not have some amazing, amazing individuals who are embarking on this journey of entrepreneurship. Again, it is not for punks. You gotta put some work in it. But before I go, I want to just throw out some resources that you can use. A lot of them are for free. So just plugging a number of chambers of commerces that exist within the 5 boroughs in upstate New York. They are available that you can take advantage of resources that they have. I also wanted to shout out the New York City Small Business Resource Network. You can, excuse me, take an opportunity of some of the services. They do have legal services if you need someone to check out your website. And guess what, folks? It's free. And I also want to say this, and I don't know if Erika can agree with me, but listen, just because it's free, it's nothing wrong with it. I wanna put a plug out there because a lot of these services that I am promoting are services that I use to help me to grow my business when I had zero.com. Zero. So I want to just emphasize that just because we're saying it's free doesn't necessarily mean that it's not credible. These are credible organizations that are city and state funded. Repeat, these are city and state funded resources. Some of them are membership based, but you can take advantage of it. I want to pop up Erika's information up there again, but I also want to say something too, right? Because oftentimes we're like, oh, I need a coach. I need a coach. Sometimes you cannot afford the coaches. And guess what? You can book me through SCORE. Check me out there. For those who, may have, Erika talked about the program that is through unemployment. You can book us through SCORE. And it's not just myself. You can book many of experienced entrepreneurs, experienced professionals that will take time to help you to grow and scale your business. And guess what? It's of no cost. So don't be ashamed to take advantage of the resources that are out there. We are all here to grow and scale our businesses. Also wanted to plug, there are a number of grants out there. Again, these are resources that are available for small businesses. Yes, you do have to have a business structure. Yes, you do have to have a business account. Business structure meaning you could be a sole prop, you can be an LLC, S Corp. Those things you have to have, including a separate business bank account and an EIN that you do not have to pay for an EIN number. It's irs.gov. Put in your information, complete it, boom, no cost. And then you'll be able to qualify if your business has been in existence for at minimum 6 months. So These things are out there, folks. We cannot say that they don't exist, because they do, to help us to support ourselves in our dreams. So I'm going to say so long. Thank you so much for joining the Real Journey of the Entrepreneur. Stay tuned Monday nights. We will be here every Monday night for all winter long. So you can grab your cup of cocoa before it gets snow, before we get snowed in, and you can have that time on Monday nights. But I want to thank you so much for joining, and stay tuned. Bye-bye.